Well, I told you I'd finally have a positive report sometime. So, after many weeks of very frustrating losses and reviews, we got a division win last night. More importantly, we got a win last night. We beat the Jets 30 to 27, and believe it or not, it was a pretty entertaining game. The score might not show it, but the Jets actually played a great game somehow. Everyone's like, well, the Patriots just beat the Jets, let alone it's a division win, so it's always a good win. And B, Flacco played like 2012 all over again. But in the end, the Pats stepped up and showed their strength, even without Edelman, N'Keal Harry, Gilmore. Now, it definitely showed their absence, but in a year like we've had, it could have been a lot worse. We were trailing 20-10 at halftime, and I was really worried. But luckily, Cam and the crew turned on the Jets, and finally started playing like a competent football team. Cam had a great game almost from start to finish last night. A few iffy plays and just a few stumbles. Other than that, he was spot on, and that might contribute to the bad secondary of the Jets, but Jacoby Myers is the star of the show, and he had 12 catches on 14 targets for 169 yards, which is up in like the top few performances by a wide receiver in Patriots history. And that's saying a lot considering what we've went through over the past 40, 50 years. I was really impressed. I've always liked him. I actually think he's better than N'Keal Harry. And it was good to see him actually get the spotlight. Now, it sucks that Harry and Edelman weren't there, but I think it was a good coming out party, including last week, but especially this week, to see Myers have the spotlight a little bit and see what he can do when it's not so contested out there. And like I said, Cam had a good game. The defense, it was a little iffy. There were some missed tackles, and there was some blown coverage, but also Flacco was just making some good throws. I think if Darnold would have been in there, the Pats would have rolled them by about 30. Flacco just had a vintage game in him, and I guess he wanted to take out the pain and anger he had in 2014 when we beat him in the divisional round. So, what can you do? Anyways, so we're looking forward to next Sunday, which is going to be Sunday Night Football at home at Gillette against the Ravens. Now, on paper, this should be a blowout against us. However, the Ravens, although they have a 6-2 record, have looked like a totally different team lately, and not in a good way. I saw a report earlier this week that the Ravens were talking about how the defense were literally noticing the play calls before they even called the snap. It was so predictable. But when you have Lamar Jackson, who can throw perfectly fine, but when all you do is QB draws and options and occasionally throw it downfield, it's really not hard to figure out after a year or two. The tape is always the same. Now, I'm not going to trash talk him or anything because there's a good chance they're going to beat us, and you'll see in my prediction that I'm picking the Ravens to beat us. However, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a close game or if New England pulls a win out. We'll see who's on the field Sunday, which Patriots team decides to come out. But I think Bill will always have a good game plan, and I know him and Harbaugh always have good chess matches when it comes to football. So, for my prediction, after a good, clutch divisional win, thanks to Nick Folk on a 51-yard field goal. Love you, buddy. I'm going to say, next week, I'm going to say 34-28 Baltimore. But if I was going with my heart, I'd say 31-23 New England. So we'll go with that. Anyways, that's my review of this big win against the Jets. We're moving on to 3-5, and we're on to Baltimore. See you guys next week.